This is the waning moments of Connor Stallions' relevance.
Okay.
I know this is where Ty has had some fun. So I'm curious how he's
Certainly.
feeling.
Yeah, certainly a good time.
Certainly have.
Yeah, it has been a blast. Buckeye Pete here
Yeah.
has certainly been in the trenches of this since the beginning. And obviously, this story was gigantic. I mean, I wish we could explain to people that don't remember the time what it was like for you, what it was like for college sports as a whole, what it was in just the sports world. Because, okay, so they were cheating, they were scouting ahead, they had cameras on people, they're buying tickets, there was an entire scheme that was taking place. Jim Harbaugh was basically telling him to do it. No, Jim Harbaugh didn't know anything about it, and they were going to win national championship. So it was chaos, I think, throughout it all. So whenever you send this tweet out, we didn't know what this was about. Was this also about the FBI or whatever that brought in and got the computers that were in there because one of the staffers was doing something else? It's like, we had no idea what this tweet was about. You're saying it's Connor Stallions. What does this mean? We're going to get the final, kind of ruling on the entire Connor Stallions piece here as you look incredibly thin and tanned up for the season.
So the Committee on Infractions is going to make public its ruling on the Michigan advanced scouting case. And this is not the so-called hamburger case, and this is certainly not the felonious case of Matt Weiss, the former offensive coordinator, which is really, really dark stuff. This is the quintessential collegiate scandal that just, really took over the 2023 season, Pat, right? And as Michigan went on to win the national title, and it's kind of unspooled in just this wild way, and it became this perfect talk show topic, quite frankly, because there was an argument on one side, you should hide your signals better. Was it legal? Was it not legal? There was all this ambiguity surrounding it. And this will be likely, but not certainly, the final chapter of the litigation of this case through the NCAA process. And, we're going to find out tomorrow the punishment, any potential punishment for Michigan, which I've said on this show before, is likely going to be a hefty fine. And there's not an expectation, Pat, that there's going to be any kind of postseason ban. And there's not an expectation that any of their accomplishments are going to be taken away. Now, a vast majority of the staff members who got jammed up in this are now gone in the NFL, Jim Harbaugh prominently among them. The real news that's going to come out of tomorrow is going to be regarding the suspension of Sharon Moore. Michigan, back in May, I believe, self-imposed 2 games for Sharon, game 3 and game 4 this season. And what we're going to find out from the NCAA tomorrow is that accepted, or are they going to add any additional suspensions? Remember, he obviously deleted a thread of 52 text messages in this. Typically, as these things go, Pat, when you self-impose, it's like buying a used car. You don't go above the blue book value when you make your first offer. You go below the blue book value. So they feel, there's an expectation that there could be a slight addition to it, potentially. Just if you look at the history of these cases, when people do self-impose, sometimes it's accepted, sometimes there's an additive, but it won't be radically different than the 2 that are there. And yes, now there's potential for appeals too. So I'm not going to say this thing is over forever, but this is certainly a large piece of this weird, wild scandal that is coming to conclusion.
I think we're all excited to move along. We're all excited to move along in this entire thing. But I know there's going to be some people that miss some things. Go ahead, Ty Thamel.
Yeah, Pete, just curious, when you look at this situation, obviously not going to ask you to bury the lead in terms of what you think those punishments might be. That we'll hear about that tomorrow. But does this kind of mark the end of the I would call it the Buckeye Pete, Greasy Pete era? And does that mean that you're going to be taking your investigative pickaxe and heading for different hills where you may be mining for gold for some college football stories of collusion or scandal, et cetera, later this year?
Ty, I'm just happy you're not impersonating me with a Yankees hat on. I found that pretty offensive when you did that recently because I'm a Boston resident and a giant Red Sox fan. So I've never had any problems with the impression, but you crossed the line there, Ty. And, I took offense to it.
You talked about Ty enjoying this entire scandal, yada yada. A lot of people are attacking you, Pete. Hey, way to stay in the batter's box.
Attaboy, Pete.
Way to stay in the batter's box.